an unprecedented number of weapons to Ukraine. The only reason why Ukraine is still standing and fighting Russia is because the West has armed the war-torn nation to the teeth. Ukraine is not experienced in handling Western weapons. Traditionally, it has relied on Soviet-era ammunition and systems. So, the probability of Ukraine messing things up with Western weapons is high. It exhausted its stockpile of Soviet weapons long ago. Now, it relies purely on American and European weapons. And now, it has been revealed that Ukraine misfired an American missile which ended up injuring 3 civilians in eastern Ukraine. An American-made missile fired by Ukrainian forces wounded 3 civilians in eastern Ukraine in September, according to residents and debris recovered from the scene. According to the New York Times, this incident occurred on September 26th in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk. Ukraine fired an AGM-88B high-speed anti-radiation missile that ended up destroying a 5-story apartment building in Kramatorsk. Olga Vasilivna, a resident who lived adjacent to where the missile hit, said, and I quote, "3 people got wounded, they say, no dead. It hit the apartment where no one lives, and in the next one, people got hurt." Eyewitnesses confirmed Vasilivna's account, saying, and I quote, "We have had hits in this neighborhood before. Now, we are afraid of every tiny rustle." A spokeswoman for Ukraine's Ministry of Defense did not respond to questions about the missile strike. It is not yet clear if the missile misfired, malfunctioned while en route an enemy target, or was fired by Ukrainian forces with the intention of hitting the apartment itself. Russia has made some unverified claims that Ukraine has been using artillery and missiles on its own civilians. Ukraine has been engaging in high-handedness across regions of eastern Ukraine that it has retaken from Russia, especially Kharkiv Oblast. This is a matter of record, and First Post has reported how Ukraine has been harassing civilians in the Donbass region. Civilians are being suspected of being pro-Russia, who conspired with Russian forces against Ukraine in the past few months. Is it possible Ukraine is trying to stoke fear in eastern Ukraine with its Western weapons? Ukraine is consuming Western weapons at a really high and unsustainable pace. Here are some numbers. Russia is firing as many as 20,000 ammunition rounds a day. By contrast, Ukraine is firing as many as 7,000 rounds a day. That's a lot, and the West, especially the US, isn't being able to keep up. On Wednesday, the Biden administration announced an additional round of aid that will provide 20 million more rounds of small arms ammunition to Kyiv. US weapons reserves are now coming under increasing pressure, and American defense officials are getting worried. Bill LaPlante, the Pentagon's top weapons buyer, asked some tough questions this month and said, what would happen if something blew up in the Indo-Pacific? Not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now. What if it happened next week? These are important questions. How prepared is the US to take on China? Has it compromised on its ability to fight direct wars by fighting a proxy war with Russia in Ukraine? And given how Ukraine is burning through ammunition and also misfiring missiles, will such unwavering US support continue? There's a high chance that the September incident involving American missiles striking Ukrainian civilians was not an isolated event. How will that impact the war?